Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a philosophy that really tries to do it all, the Ananda Sutram. We're talking about a single, unified theory for the universe, for the mind, and even for what an ideal society could look like. So let's see how it connects the absolute vastness of the cosmos right down to our own inner world.
You know, the name itself is a pretty big promise. Ananda Sutram literally translates to aphorisms leading to divine bliss. So we're not just talking about abstract ideas here. These are meant to be condensed, powerful threads of thought, all designed to guide us toward this state of infinite happiness. Our journey today isn't just about learning something new, it's about exploring the very nature of bliss itself.
All right, first up, we have to start with the biggest picture imaginable, this idea of a conscious universe. The Ananda Sutram kicks things off by asking a huge question. What is reality itself actually made of?
So this philosophy frames reality as having two inseparable sides, Shiva and Shakti. The best way to think about it is like a single piece of paper. On one side, you have Shiva, which is pure consciousness. It's the silent, witnessing part, the very foundation of all existence. And on the other side, that's Shakti, the dynamic, creative energy. It's the force, the action, the doer in the universe. The key thing is, you can't have one side without the other. They are two faces of the exact same cosmic reality.
And this unified entity, that whole piece of paper, both sides together, is called Brahma. This is the absolute ground of all being, where that consciousness and that energy are locked together forever. And get this, according to this view, everything that exists, you, me, the stars, this planet, it's all just a part of this one single cosmic entity.
So the big question is, how does this one cosmic entity become, well, everything? The answer is through this incredible dynamic cycle. You can almost think of it as an eternal cosmic breath. It starts with sanchara, which is this outward flow where pure consciousness moves away from its source, getting denser and more complex until it finally forms the physical material world. But it doesn't just stop there. The cycle then reverses in a process called pratisain. This is the inward journey, from that crude matter all the way back towards that subtle conscious nucleus, where everything eventually merges back home.
Okay, so that brings us to part 2, mapping the mind. Because that massive cosmic cycle we just talked about, it isn't just happening out there somewhere in the universe. According to this text, that exact same process is what creates the universe in here, our own consciousness.
Now here's a pretty radical idea. The mind isn't separate from matter. It actually evolves from it. The text argues that through these intense clashes and friction within crude matter, some of it gets, well, pulverized into a much subtler substance called mind stuff. So in this view, the mind is literally born from the physical world.
So, the foundational layer of this mind stuff is called chitta. A good way to think of it is like mental clay. It's the objective part of your mind that just passively takes the shape of whatever it perceives. When you look at a tree, your chitta becomes the mental form of that tree. It's what the text calls the done-I, the part that is simply experiencing reality as it happens.
Now, evolving out of that passive citta is the aham, or what we'd call the ego. This is our sense of agency, of being a doer. If citta just experiences the tree, aham is the part that claims ownership over that experience. It's the doer I that says, I am seeing this tree.
And deeper still, at the very core, is the mahat. This is the purest, most subtle layer of our mind. It's not about what you do or what you experience. It's that simple, powerful, profound feeling that I exist. It is the fundamental awareness of I am that sits underneath everything else.
So there you have it. That's the mind's inner architecture. It all starts with that objective mind stuff, the chitta, which then evolves into the sense of doership in the aham, and it all culminates in that pure existential feeling of I am in the mahat. It's these 3 layers, all born from that exact same cosmic dance of energy and consciousness.
Which brings us to section 3, the quest for bliss. So now that we have this incredible map of both the universe and the mind, what is it that actually drives us through it all? What's our deepest, most universal motivation?
Well, according to the Ananda Sutram, the fundamental drive for every single living being is surprisingly simple. It's the pursuit of happiness. It argues that every action we take, every desire we have, is ultimately rooted in this deep, instinctual longing to find a state of well-being.
And this is a really critical distinction. The text says the happiness we usually chase is temporary. It's limited. What we're really after, deep down, is Ananda. This is a state of infinite, limitless happiness. This isn't just about feeling good for a moment. It's a state of being that goes way beyond the ups and downs of sensory pleasure and pain. It's what we could call ultimate bliss. And here is where it all connects in the most amazing way. That infinite bliss, that Ananda that we're all searching for, well, it has another name, Brahma. Our deepest personal quest for happiness is, in fact, the universe's own journey back to its conscious source. We are literally seeking the cosmic entity itself.
This journey is our dharma, our true purpose. The text defines dharma not as some rigid set of rules, but as the conscious, deliberate movement towards this limitless state of Ananda, this union with the great. It is the effort to run after limitlessness itself. And finally, this brings us to a blueprint for society. Because this whole philosophy isn't just personal or spiritual. The Ananda Sutram argues that our inner purpose has profound and really practical implications for how we structure the world around us.
The text proposes this fascinating theory of history it calls the social cycle. It basically argues that society isn't static, but that it naturally rotates through these different ages dominated by different mindsets. It starts with the Shudra age, which is focused on labor and survival. Then, power shifts to the Kshatriya, the warriors who rule by force. Eventually, they get overthrown by the Vipra, the intellectuals who command through ideas. And finally, the Vaishya age emerges, where capitalists control society through wealth, which leads to exploitation and ultimately a revolution that just resets the whole cycle.
So how can we build a society that actually supports everyone's journey toward that bliss? The text lays out some really clear principles for what it calls a progressive society. First, guarantee the minimum necessities of life to all people. Then, distribute any extra wealth based on merit and social value. The goal is to be constantly raising the minimum standard of living for everyone and using all of our potential, physical, mental, and spiritual, for the collective good. The idea is to free people up to pursue their true purpose.
And this leads to a really powerful guiding principle. The philosophy completely rejects conformity. It argues that diversity, not identity, is the law of nature. So the goal isn't to make everyone the same, but to build a society that cherishes and values the unique potential inside every single person.
Here we get to one of its most radical social ideas. If everything is part of one cosmic entity, part of Brahma, then all resources are really the common inheritance of everyone. So the text argues, no single person should be allowed to accumulate vast amounts of physical wealth without the permission of the collective body, because hoarding resources just prevents others from meeting their own needs and pursuing their own journey. So, to wrap it all up, the Ananda Sutram presents this completely integrated vision. It weaves together the nature of the cosmos, the structure of our own minds, our ultimate personal purpose, and a practical blueprint for a progressive society, all into one coherent and, honestly, pretty inspiring framework. It connects our inner quest for bliss with the outer need for justice and collective progress. Which leaves us with one final, really powerful question to think about. If our ultimate purpose, our dharma, really is the pursuit of infinite happiness, a state that's identical to the cosmic consciousness itself, how does that change the way we see our world and our place within it?